Welcome to the Growth and Banter podcast. My name is Blake McCullough, CEO and founder of GMS Media Group, one of Australia's leading creative digital advertising agencies. This podcast is for anyone looking to learn the insights and strategies from successful business leaders and the growth stories and highs and lows that come with success. Today, we're joined by Tom and Molly from Staffy Co, and they're going to share their insights into how to nail your niche online. It's a great story. You don't want to miss it. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Welcome to Sydney. How was the drive down yesterday?
It was a little bit long, but we made it work. Yeah.
Very good, very good. Well, we're here today to talk about your amazingly successful business, Staffy Co. But before we jump into the meat and bones of it, I'd love to just get a bit of a backstory into yourselves, what led you to start a business and also, nailing your niche. And that's what we'll sort of talk about for the big focus of what today's topic is. But yeah, give us a bit of a background story of yourselves and what led you to Staffy Co.
Yeah, cool. So bit of a background story. So Staffy Co, the idea sort of first sparked, actually I'll take you right back to when I first got my first ever Staffy. So I was about 14 years old, was it? Yeah, 14 years old. And I just always wanted to have a dog that I could love and care for. And like it was my own dog. And I was begging Mum, like, Mum, can we get a dog? Can we get a dog?
She
and
said
she's
no,
like,
obviously.
Yeah. And Christmas come around.
Let alone a Staffy.
Yeah, wanted a Staffy. Christmas come around and she's like, what do you want for Christmas? I'm like, Mum, I want a Staffy. And she's like, you're not getting a Staffy. So what do you want? I was like, all right, give me some cash. Boxing
Dog
Day.
or cash.
Yeah. Boxing Day come around. I'm knocking on the door. I had a Staffy. I went and bought one with the cash and brought it home. Little Maxie, actually. And so from there, I just fell in love with dogs. Just had such a passion for Staffies. Just most beautiful, loyal animal. And I... sort of from there went into like becoming like a licensed breeder, like a few years down the track, like really just enjoyed that and being able to provide families with like these same dogs that can bring so much joy and happiness. So I'd done that for a while. And from there it was like, I think the turning point sort of for Staffy Co, or like where the idea sort of sparked, was when these people are coming to me like as an expert, like what products do we get these dogs? Like, I didn't have any products to recommend them. And it was like, do I tell them to go to the, Kmart or the pet shop and get these products that I know get destroyed in like 2 weeks? And I just felt like I was doing a disservice to these families that I was providing the products for. So that was sort of what sparked the idea in me, is like, where can I and what can I do to give more to these people? And I sort of started the journey to like, start trying to create these products and build these things, and have faced like many failures like along the way and had to learn a ton of lessons. But that was sort of like the background story on Staffy Co. Yeah.
It's funny because the business has been going for nearly 3 years now, just over 2. And we always say it's actually been going for 10 years because Tom had that first relationship with the Staffy, which he brought home. And then from there, he kind of knew like the ins and outs for over 10 years. And I guess like that's really helped us with product development and just creating like quality products.
Yeah, and I think that's a good example of like not just jumping into a business because you see a trend where you can make money out of it, but actually having a passion for it and something that you can dig your teeth in, excuse the pun. But like the fact that you've only in business for 3 years, which is a very short amount of time, and we'll get into, some of your successes that you've had in that short amount of time. But like 10 years in the making, that nothing's an overnight success, even though people might think that. But it's cool that you've had that trajectory and just that passion for Staffy dogs. And the next point I want to sort of get into is like, for those who don't know, you started off just selling dog products, right? It wasn't specific to Staffies. And, then you transitioned into just selling Staffy related products. So really going niche and hyper niche, obviously dog products is one niche, but then finding a niche within that niche. And then that sort of made the big difference and breakthrough in the business. So explain to me how important that transition was.
Yeah, of course. So I wish I could say I was selling dog products, but the fact is nobody was actually buying them.
Attempted
to sell dog products. So as I mentioned, like I experienced, like I wanted to create more. I wanted to build something. Like I wanted to create dog products and dog products that served a purpose. So my first ever like I guess, product that we tried to sort of launch to just general dogs. Like, I'm just a big visionary. I just want to like create something. And I thought, all right, I'm going to build a product that's never been seen before. No background in like online sales or e-commerce or even business in general. I come up with this idea, and it was to build this like 2-in-1 like collar and leash, and the collar opens and closes. It has a leash attached to it. You press a button and it closes, and then the leash detaches, and it's got like a retractable leash inside. And I thought, this is sick. Like, this is going to solve a problem. It's like going to simplify like walking your dog, because it was something that I faced, but it didn't. So the lesson there was like, I started trying to build this thing out. I invested a lot of money. I started working with product designers in Melbourne to develop this thing. And like, fast forward 12 months, we had like a really cool working prototype that looked sick. I'd invested like 40 grand of my cash into this thing to try get it off the ground. And they're telling me like, you know, there's a lot of moving parts in this. It's a lot more complicated than what it seems. And like, you're probably going to need another $60,000 to get this thing to market. Wow. And like, so early on in my entrepreneurial journey, I just didn't have the cash behind me to keep going. And I had to decide, like, I had to pull the pin, and I had to put that aside and just sort of take the lesson from that, which was, I would say, just not to overcomplicate things. You don't need to go reinvent the wheel, create something that's never before seen. So I had to sort of reassess like what I was doing. The goal didn't change. I still wanted to create amazing products for dogs, and I continued doing that. I actually, at that point, like, I was broke, had no money, had to sell my car to sort of fund the next sort of round of projects. And I met this leather maker at the local markets. He made these like beautiful belts. His name was Keith. And
G'day, Keith. How are you, Keith?
Shout out Keithy. And I went up to him and I was like, man, can you do dog collars? He's like, I've never done them, but sure, I make belts. Then probably not that much different. We started creating these dog collars and leashes, and it was a beautiful product. And again, that might have taken another 3 months. Dumped a bit of money into like trying to build the brand, run some like, you know, awareness campaigns, sent all of my customers that had bought dogs off me, build out this brand called Cosmotron Pets. And I was like, guys, we're launching these collars, these leashes, sort of hyped it up. You know, it was running giveaways, and come launch day, like, I launched it, and to my surprise, like, nobody bought it. It flopped. The only people that bought it was a couple of mates of mine.
I've got one.
Yeah, do you?
Yeah, you can always rely on your friends, but we all know that building a business, you can't rey on your friends for too long, can you?
That's right. Yeah. So, and I think I pretty much gave it away to them for cost price. So the lesson there too was like, I don't know, like I just couldn't work out why no one was buying my products. Like, a week went by. And
you were trying to sell to everyone.
That's the sort of takeaway from it, and where we're going with it is like, if you try to sell to everyone, you sell to nobody.
Yeah.
And from there, it was just like, what can I do? Like, I have Staffies, people on this Facebook page and Instagram and everything. They're Staffy owners. It's like, I've known Staffies for 10 years. So it was just trying to like niche in, and that's when I found the niche, rebranded to Staffy Co, and launched like the next product, and it actually sort of resonated with them because it was built for the Staffies. So that's just, yeah.
And how long from when you initially launched to then making that transition? What did that take? Was it months, weeks?
Yeah, it was probably a good month or two. Like, I'm like, all right, these leather collars and leashes, they're not working. Let's scrap this idea. Let's rebuild it. Built for Staffies, and then it was like back into the product development stage. Like, what can we do? I'd failed twice trying to do collars and leashes and harnesses. So I was like, let's put that aside for now. Let's make it a little bit more simple. And it started with a dog bowl, like a beautiful dog bowl, stainless steel thing. And it, not that it had like any points of difference, but it was just like, it was
a bowl that the Staffy can't ruin, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's right. So yeah, it was a good couple of months in between that sort of period.
Yeah, nice one. And I think like one amazing thing I always think about with your business is it would be quite hard for, you know, the general person to understand how many Staffies are out there. So going and building a business and going all into just Staffies, when did you realize that there's a market for it and one that you could scale with in one type of breed?
Yeah.
Like, how did you analyze that? Okay, there's a big enough segment here. I'm gonna go for it.
Well, that was a thing, and
did you just guess it?
That was a lot of winging happened at the start, but that was the fear. Like, as entrepreneurs, like we we think big and we want to go big and sell to everybody. And I learned like you have to go small before you can go big. And that's what I feared though. Like, am I shooting myself in the foot here by building a brand just for Staffies? Like, am I going to run out of people to sell to? I wasn't really sure, but it started to just gain momentum. And I feel like there's still so much market to tap into. So we continue to use that as our niche, and we continue to stay on that. And there's a lesson actually. There's a thing that I learned recently through Aaron Sansoni, and it's called the bank zone. So your bank zone is what you do that you rock at and your customers want. Then there's the war zone. The war zone is what your customers do. And if you want to go compete with them, you're going into the war zone, and you need a lot of money to sort of compete in the war zone. There's like higher cost per acquisitions, you've got competition. It's harder to gain market share. So from there, it was just like realizing, well, the Staffies is our bank zone. It's like our customers aren't doing this. This is us. Like, we're experts in it. And I love the story of James Dyson, how he created the Dyson vacuum cleaner. Like, again, he didn't go out and create this product that's never been seen before. He just built this beautiful Dyson vacuum cleaner that people wanted to put on their wall and show their friends. And from back before then, everyone was shoving their vacuum cleaners in the cupboard and hiding them away. And he made the vacuum cleaner beautiful. And
we used to have one that you'd plug into the wall.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
Like, they had suction caps all over the house, and you'd get the big
put bags in them.
Yeah.
And that.
Oh,
Yeah.
they've come a long way. But I think that's such a good point, is you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Like, there's a brand in the US called Figs, and they sell hospital scrubs. And that is not something that anyone would usually think is sexy. And like, it's just been, for years and years, it's been like something that you have to wear when you work in a hospital as a nurse or a doctor. And Figs came along, and they didn't reinvent the wheel. Like, scrubs is probably like a saturated market. You can probably get them for quite cheap. But they made them sexy, and they made them good quality and fit really well. And there was a market there. Like, they knew there's always going to be doctors and nurses. And so I thought what they were doing is really cool. And it's the same as dog toys. Like, dog toys have been around for like hundreds of years, I think. So anyway, I have to fact check that. But
and that's
for a long time. But
and like, scrubs would be used, in cosmetic clinics and beauty clinics and a few other different areas outside of hospitals, right? So a decent market for it, and you're wanting to look your best all the time.
Exactly, and they solved that problem for consumers, and they did it so well, and no one had done that before. And I think like no one had, dog toys been around for a while, but no one had tapped into that really tough toy market for Staffies.
That's it. And did you have a similar passion for Staffies? Like, what was your sort of approach to joining the business?
Yeah, so I was working for startups and in marketing for a couple of years, and kind of saw the behind the curtain, I guess, in different startups and helped them grow. And I knew that I wanted to be involved in growing a business like that. So when Tom was, I think it was about a year in, he was like, oh, do you want to come on board as a co-founder? And I'd been seeing what he was doing and helping him with little bits and pieces, and I could see his passion, and I knew that there was something special there. Like, I could just tell that this was going to blow up. And then I think it was when we launched the Choosilla certified toys that we really saw the growth, because that was when I think we understood the customer so much more, and we were like, okay, how do we make the toughest toy possible? Like, that's what our customers want. So we did a lot of research and development, worked with suppliers and vetted them, and it took about 6 to 12 months, I think, to kind of come up with that product and get that ready to go. And once that launched, that was when the growth really started to happen. And yeah, it's been pretty crazy since.
Yeah, that's awesome. And on the Choosilla, I know that's your best-selling product at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Like, how fun is it? Like, I just imagine the workshops that you're doing to come up with new toys. Like, do you test it on Staffies when you're coming up with prototypes, or you're getting samples made? Like, what's the process around coming up and testing a product that's going to sell, but the durability of it? Obviously with Staffies, that's why you guys are so popular, because everyone knows having a Staffy, you need different style of products that are going to last. So I'm sure they chew the shit out of the products.
They give it a good go.
A poor quality chew toy might last a second versus you guys, it's going to last a bit longer. But walk me through the process of how you come up with those bestsellers.
Yeah. So I think it's like, it is, we're testing them on our own Staffies. We have Staffies, so we're in the trenches every day. We're using these products on them. We're for months on end, like sampling them. Are these, like, do our dogs love these? And then it's also just listening to our customers, like, what do they want? Because in the beginning, that's how we come up with the Choosilla, was listening to what they want. We launched a toy box, and we'd get feedback like these aren't suitable for Staffies. Like if there's a plush toy in there because they destroyed it. So it's like, all right, we need to make these more durable. And then it was to rubber. And then we finally found a pet safe material that we could use and that was super durable and virtually indestructible. So we back it 100% and we'll offer the money back guarantee on that. But it's just testing it. It's just listening to what our customers want. There is, of course, puppies that might not require that heavy level of chewing and they do like the plush toys. So we do still have a small percentage that want that and we do offer that. But yeah,
so you've got some puppy related ones and then some sort of like, older Staffies. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. And like in terms of the relationship you guys have as brother and sister and a family business, like how, I've interviewed, some other family businesses and there's pros and cons obviously to working together in the family, but how cool is it to work together as brother and sister? Like talk me through that dynamic and, obviously, building such a great business together. Like, how is that?
Yeah, I feel like when you've grown up with someone and you just know them and their communication style, I find it makes it a lot easier in the day-to-day. Like you go into another workplace and you don't know your colleagues and you have to get to know their communication style and like how to interact with them. But we have known each other for a long time, obviously now. So, and I think it also having the same why, having the same end goal, I think we both have that and we've both got the passion for what we're doing every single day. So when there is those hard moments, we just come back to the fact that we're trying to get to the same place. So we might have different ideas of how we want to do it, but at the end of the day, it's, we're both trying to get to that North Star and we have the same why. So that really helps. But I think it's brought us closer together. I'd love to say there was like drama, but it's pretty chill.
Something like the Kardashians or
the
something
Kardashians.
like that.
So no drama. I can already sense you guys have a good energy. I'm
but
sure it's
I think we do like why it works so well because it's just like we've got different styles. Like I'm very direct.
True.
I'm like very like the visionary. Molly's like very skillful and like hands-on and great with the staff, great with like the culture and everything like that. So it's like we just come together and build that really good dynamic.
Yeah, and I think that's like the way you should be looking at any personality relationship in a business. You know, like back end and front end, or depending upon the departments you're in, you don't want two people being direct and therefore they're going to butt heads. And then also don't want people that are just wanting to sit there and operate. So, Simon and myself, my business partner, we work so well together and we don't butt heads at all. And we see eye to eye, and we've been in business for 8 years now. Yeah. I don't think we've had one serious argument at all. And like, if you look at the personality testing, I'm more, front end facing the business and therefore have that more, I guess, direct personality. And then Simon's a little bit more introverted. So I'm more extroverted and introvert. And that works really well with our roles because Simon's in operations and I'm in more sales and growth and strategy and stuff like that. So having that split of relationship and personality is awesome. I'm sure a lot of brothers and sisters maybe don't see eye to eye, as do a lot of other siblings. But it's great that you guys have nailed that energy and synergy.
All of my friends, like, I don't know how you work with your brother. Like, I'd never be able to do that. And I was like, I wouldn't have thought so, but I think having that why, having that opposite personality, it does work really well.
Yeah, and like you're working towards that one goal, like you said before as well, which helps. You're seeing eye to eye at the end of the day.
Yeah. I think it's important. Like, there's different styles of like, I guess, entrepreneurs. Like there's people that are the visionaries. There's people that are good at the task. There's people that just like great workers, hustlers. I think you need to have like a mixture of all of those people on your sort of team.
100%. Yeah. And I think like doing the personality testing when you are building a team is also really important. So you're not just recruiting one style of personality. You do need a mix, and and certain personalities will suit certain roles, others won't. So it's awesome to do that. Now, going back to like the niche, what do you feel are the biggest pros and cons? Having sort of dabbled in going a bit more broad, which seems like it didn't have many pros, but like, what do you feel like are the pros and cons with, speaking to a bigger audience and trying to sell to everybody versus going a bit more niche? I mean, the obvious is that you are hyper targeted and you're speaking closer to your audience going niche. Maybe on the flip with the more open audience, you're sort of feeling like you're attracting a potential bigger customer base. Our agency is a bit broad, although we're niche on service in terms of broad on industry, niche on service. So you got to have some element of niche. But what do you think are the main pros and cons that you guys have experienced?
I think the main pro is the connection to the consumer. Like when you've got a niche, they've got a reason to come to you and trust you as well from the beginning. And we try and do a lot of storytelling around that. I think that's like a really important element, is like communicating the niche as well, and like not just having it, is actually like telling the customer like why it's important that you do what you do. And so I think that's a big part of it, and that connection, I guess, like speaks volumes to the quality as well. So we really have to back up the quality, because if people are coming to us for a certain reason, then they're not going to come back if the product doesn't do what it says. And so we've got that guarantee on our toys that if they break, we'll replace them for free. And so that kind of helps build that trust as well. So I think that's a big pro, because if you don't have a niche and you're just, going up against like a big giant in the industry that's saturated, then they can just outprice you.
Like a pet barn, for instance.
Exactly. Yeah. They can outprice you, and there's, a million other things in business that can go wrong, and you're not going to have that customer base who's dedicated. So yeah, building that community, I think, has been essential around the niche.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
There's an analogy that I like to use, and it's I call it like, I think it's more like, if you don't know who you're selling to, or you're trying to sell to everyone. I like to look at it as like you're trying to shoot an arrow while you're blindfolded, right?
Yeah.
You're going to miss the target like 100% of the time. If you know who you're selling to, you can see the target.
Yeah.
And if you can deliver the products or services that target wants, then you're more likely to hit the bullseye. So I always like to sort of use that analogy when people ask that.
Yeah, for sure. And like, not to say that you guys can't become a pet barn, right? But I think breaking into a market, I mean, I feel like every market's saturated these days unless you come up with so innovative and it's new and no one knows about it. But it's not to say that you guys can continue to build on to more niches and go into different breeds. So like, are you guys what's the sort of like thinking around? Are you going to target other breeds, or are you just going to stay at Happy Staffy for now? Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, we have some ideas,
Yeah.
but
ones you can't maybe share.
yeah, maybe at the moment.
Yeah,
but
no,
next
that's
time
cool.
on the pod.
Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
I think that we do have like a small percentage of our market that realize we do have really high quality products and they are suitable for other breeds as well. So they do purchase it. But as I mentioned, like, that is our bank zone at the moment. I feel like there's still so much market and people that we haven't tapped into yet. So we're going to sort of keep staying niche down, focus on that. Perhaps we will build other brands around that, because we do sort of have the experience now in building like high quality dog products. So
It's like what Tom said before too. Like we don't just do the tough toys. I think if we were a Staffy brand and then we'd niche down even more onto the tough toys, and it'd be like, that's too niche. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas we have like our good quality beds. We've got toys for puppies that are softer. So I think keeping it niche to a particular demographic that we know that there is a pretty big market for, and we've only tapped into a small part of it, but then still having all those different products. So when people enter our funnel, it's usually through our tough toys, and then they discover the beds, and then the other types of toys and the walking gear. And
that will help with your retention of your customer, bringing them into, say, a Choosilla toy, and then what else can we sell you? The Staffy bed.
Yeah, 100%. And I think like we ship internationally at the moment, but it is really expensive for the consumer, and so we're trying to reduce that cost and even the time frame by launching into other countries. So we're about to launch into the US in the next couple of months.
Makes complete sense.
Yeah,
to
and
enter that market.
I think that'll help us tap into like all the Staffies over in America, and they've also got like the bully breed dogs and the tough dogs over there, which is really common. So from there we'll try and kind of tackle those other countries.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And I think, like, again, given that you guys have only been in business for 3 years, to me, like 3 years might seem like a lot when you're sort of third year in, but then when you start going like 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you think like 3 years is actually not a long time in business. I see a lot of businesses really struggle in that initial 3 year period. They're still just not quite generating consistent revenue. Their products maybe not proven yet.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things just not quite succinct in their strategy. You guys have nailed that. Your website's great. We're obviously doing a bit of work together with Meta and Google and SEO and some SMS marketing of recent. But yeah, talk us through like what some of the growth has been like, whether you're able to share data or not, whatever you want to share. Talk us through like what the growth has been like.
Yeah, so I think we did find, when we did realize we had that fit for Staffies and the consumers wanted our products because we were creating amazing Staffy products, I think there's two ways you can sort of grow a company, and you can grow it organically, and you can sort of, let the sales come in and sort of just reinvest back in. But or you can grow it artificially. And so we just started like investing a lot in like marketing and people and staff. And so, I mean, a lot of people start to fail in their business because they start to see that, you know, they're not making that consistent sort of revenue or that profit. But knowing that like you are going to sort of have to go a little bit into the pit, you probably aren't going to be profitable at all times, but just sort of knowing like we're investing heavily into the right thing, so we know it's going to slingshot us like right above and continue to help that growth. So I think just sort of just knowing that we've got those high quality products and that we're investing in the right areas is what's helped us to grow.
Yeah, and I guess like, you know, getting into new channels, like we've really been trying to dial in SMS with your guys' help as well, which has been going really well.
With Attentive.
Yes, with Attentive. Yep, they've been
great.
awesome.
Yeah.
They're really, really good to work
Actually
with.
having lunch with them, I think next week or the week after. It's meant to be recently, but we had to bin it because everyone got sick, including myself, and it's just been flu crazy season at the moment.
Yeah, we were hoping to catch up with them while we were here, but we didn't have time.
Didn't have time. Next time.
Yeah,
sure.
100%. But yeah, so new channels like SMS, which we hadn't really tapped into before.
Yeah.
Loyalty programs, like I said, we've got that really kind of tapped into community, and so we're like, how can we give back to them even more through a loyalty program? We've got the treat, so we're thinking subscription with that could work really well. Yep. And then I mean, I'm on the phone to Matt all the time from GMS from your team.
Shout out Matt, we love you, Matt.
We love you, Matt.
Matt, you're a legend. Save
He's
all
the
of our
best.
lives, mate.
Oh, he really does.
Yeah, he is. He's so good. Yeah.
And we always feel so, I guess, energized after getting off the phone with him because he brings fresh ideas and, you know, he's like, you guys should be doing this. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even think of that.
I think it really helps as well. Like he does the adoption process with some of his dogs, you know, the foster caring, sorry.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's had a Staffy before, but he's got a love for animals, and I think he's actually concluded that they're not ever going to have kids. They're just going to continue to grow their pet family. Yeah,
he was saying to me, it's double income, no kids.
Yeah, that's it. So he's got that passion for pets, right, and animals, which makes it easy for him to work on the account, and obviously loves working with you guys as well. So yeah, that makes a big difference.
Yeah, definitely.
I think like with your growth, you know, you're sort of hitting some good figures and everything, getting good solid return. You've proven your product and service. Is the plan to continue to stay online? Are you thinking of going into retailers, or are you already in retailers? Like what's the go there?
Yeah, definitely. And like I think it comes back down to our why. Like we want to be able to give more, serve more, and create amazing products and services. So trying to get into retailers is the next step, as well as sort of launching into different countries so we can get these products into more people's hands, because we see directly like the effect that it's having through the feedback that we receive and like how much joy and happiness it's bringing into homes. And that's our goal, like, is to be able to create that happiness in homes. Like I know personally, when I shut my eyes and just think about my dog, it brings me so much gratitude. Like
that's awesome.
Just love it a bit. So to know that we can like bring that joy and into homes and try to do that is really just what drives us. So to get our products into retailers would be amazing, because more people would get to experience that. It is the goal. We've sort of had the conversation with a distributor at the moment, and looking to sort of move into that in the next few months.
Yeah, awesome. Very good. And look, it's not all glitz and glam when building businesses, and despite you guys being highly passionate about what you're doing, there's always challenges and adversity. Like, what do you think some of the challenges has been for you guys through the process?
Yeah,
Has it been just a big like, fuck, I don't want to go through that again, you know?
There has been a couple. I don't know if I'm willing to share any of them on air, but
we can get as raw as possible.
Yeah. No, there's been so many challenges. I think I guess running a business, you become not immune to challenges, but you kind of welcome them, because I feel like as soon as there's no problems, I'm like, okay, what's wrong? Why aren't we facing any problems?
I'm like that as well. If things are a little bit like cruising a little bit too smoothly, you're like, something's going to happen.
Yeah,
you know?
It feels like the calm before the storm. So I think having those problems is good. It means that you're moving forward, growing, you're pushing the boundaries a little bit. And so, we kind of welcome them, but at the same time, you don't want to be making the same mistake over and over. So we try and learn from them as much as possible. I think some big challenges can be around people as well, and hiring the right people. That's been a bit of a learning curve. Is you've got to hire for culture at the start, but then you also need that skill set from everyone too. So it can be a little bit tricky when you're growing. But I would say that's probably the biggest thing and the biggest learning is just making sure that when we hire someone, they get what we're trying to do and they understand the why, because Otherwise, I just don't think it's going to work. It's going to fall apart.
Yeah, having like one person that's not a culture fit or just doesn't understand the common goal can be so toxic in a work environment. You know, so you want to be able to call that out as soon as possible and have the right processes to filter that. You're always going to have some people slip through the cracks that are not going to gel with your team or your processes or yourselves. And you just got to be able to call it early on.
Yeah, definitely. And finding right people, like you might hire someone for a culture reason because you're like, this person's awesome and they get our why, but then you can't find the right role for them. That can be tricky. So while we're small, we're like, okay, you know, we've got someone working in the warehouse, but she's really passionate about graphic design, and working in the warehouse can be a little bit of a drag sometimes, you know, so we're like, how can we get her really excited to come to work and like freshen up her day? So, you know, getting her to do a bit of graphic design and kind of helping her do that has been, I think, one of those ways that you can keep all of the roles like exciting and fresh and keep the team like hungry for like what the next challenge is as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Tom?
Yeah, challenges for me, man. Like I've faced so many challenges and adversities in my life. And I think some of the earlier challenges, like when I started to see just a little bit of success and from where I've been from, like a really troubled sort of background, like I think it's just like a mental battle, like daily. You start to see this little bit of success and you face what's called imposter syndrome. It's you're not worthy of this, like you don't deserve it, or like why do you deserve this sort of thing? Like this is where you were, this is who you were. So like just breaking through those fears and just like allowing yourself to sort of, I don't know, to move forward, to know that you are worthy. And I think like just fears, just like breaking through your fears, your limiting beliefs that are holding us back. Because as entrepreneurs, like we've all got a story, we've all got something that's holding us back. I learned something recently actually, and it was a baby. I think it's a baby is only born with one fear, and it's the fear of falling. So all these other fears that we tell ourselves, like fear of criticism, fear of failure, public speaking, whatever it is, it's all self-taught. So it's like just like changing the meaning behind that and just having to break through those things that are limiting us. And like Molly said, like if you're not facing challenges, you're probably not growing, and it's just law of nature. If you're not growing, you're dying. So
yeah, we discussed imposter syndrome on a previous episode with one of my business advisors who's helping us structure this new agency that we're creating, which is like our next 3 to 5 year plan. But yeah, he sort of referenced imposter syndrome as you need that, and if you don't have it, you're not trying hard enough. Exactly what you said, Molly. So that's a natural like offset of you pushing the boundaries and going, well, I'm out of my element here, and thinking that you're sort of out of place. Yeah. So it's good to have imposter syndrome, and I think it's harnessing those nerves and those fears to really break through, different challenges. And on the other side of that breakthrough is going to become learning and growth, as we all know. So yeah, it's just about how you deal with it, Yeah. And I think like you're sort of characterized by how you deal with adversity, how you pick yourself back up, not with the good times. Because anyone can be a great person when things are, rainbows and lollipops, but it's really like how you get through the tough times that matter.
That's so true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think if you don't break through those fears as well, you're never going to move forward. So you're always just going to be on that same level. So you just have to force yourself to do it scared. And talk to people that have done it before, and they'll tell you they were scared as well, most of the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think like with people and scaling and growth and going into new markets, going into retailers, what's some of the systems you guys are using outside of obviously what we're sort of helping you with, that's helping you, solidify the business and have that single source of truth with data?
Yeah.
Like what's been your best friends in terms of systems that you can sort of share with some listeners?
Good question. Yeah.
For me, I think it's something that I wish I had adopted earlier on, and it's something that a mentor of mine, Sasha, has always just tried to drill into me.
G'day, Sasha.
Yeah, I love you,
Quite
brother.
a few shout outs.
And he's always trying to tell me, you need to get clear on your numbers. You need to know exactly what you're doing. And I didn't do that. I was just winging things like from the start, like investing money into here, not knowing if we were going to run out of stock, and just sort of like just winging it really. So having accurate numbers, having accurate figures, knowing how to read a balance sheet, a profit and loss, a cash flow statement, all these things, forecasting stock correctly is the systems that I use right now, and I'm really dialing in on to just be able to foresee the growth that we want to have.
Yeah. And I think like when you are starting a business, or even if you're, you've got just like a small side hustle, it's like get to know all of the different elements of the business before you start. So, know how to, do a P&L, know how to write copy and build things on a website. You don't need to be an expert. Obviously, you're still going to need to seek that outsider help. But when you do start to outsource, it really helps if you're across like all those little parts. And I think it helps you, A, not get taken advantage of, and B, create the best product going forward as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's like you have to wear the hat of sales and marketing and operations when you first start out on your own, and you need to be able to like figure out what you're good at and what you're not great at. And obviously the first hire that you do, you need to be able to delegate, the things that you're struggling most. And a good way to do that, and I've been taught this, if you're feeling pretty overwhelmed yourselves, or if someone else in the company is overwhelmed and, they're sort of growing out of their role, then you just write down all the things you do on a daily and weekly basis. And then next to it, write whether you need to stop doing it, continue doing it, delegate it, or outsource it. The difference between delegating and outsourcing is delegating it to internal team or suppliers. Outsourcing is obviously, getting external people to help, whether that's onshore or offshore.
Yeah.
Stopping doing it means you shouldn't be doing it at all. And then continuing means there's things that you just really need to continue to do it that no one else could probably help with.
Yeah.
So, and then from that, the delegate and outsource roles or tasks then become your next job description. So it's a good way to sort of think of like, cool, you just end up getting in like a rut of daily repetition in our own jobs, right? You don't even realize what's bogging you down until you put it on paper.
Yeah.
So that's always a good way to sort of free up some time. Like right now I'm transitioning. So she was sort of doing a bit of interning, then stepped into operations. Now we're formalizing a new role, which is going to be marketing coordination. Cool. A lot of my time spent in sales, growth, recruitment, and a lot of marketing.
Yeah.
So I just wrote like a JD down for her yesterday, and it was like, when I started putting it to paper, I'm like, fuck, like I'm doing all this. Like you don't even realize until you put it down. You're like, fuck, it's literally a full-time job.
Yeah.
And it's like to have laser focused in that is what will grow the business, because there's only so much you can do whilst growing the business yourself as well.
That's such a good tangible tip, and I think I'm actually going to start doing that.
Do it.
I love
it's
that.
The best, yeah.
But it's so true. When you're in the day-to-day, you sometimes forget like to assess everything, and I think if you want to grow, you have to be constantly like looking over like who's doing what, how are they doing it. Like we're trying to get back into doing daily huddles because we were doing that every day, and I noticed that like people having to kind of say what they're doing and share it with the team, I think is really helpful and gets everyone like, oh, they're working on that. Maybe I could actually do this in my role to help them. So yeah, it's so true. Just like constantly reassessing, and that's how you move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then just having the right systems in place, because another thing is like, yes, it's great to hire talent and having good culture fits, but like people don't grow the business. The system that your business has will be the element of growth, and the people use the system to grow it, right? So you can't just expect to hire great talent and then they're all just working chaotically together without having a system to really scale the business. So system first, then good talent, and then the talent drives the systems to grow the business.
Yeah, I feel like you're teaching me lots.
Well, we wouldn't be working together otherwise, right?
Exactly.
Look, you guys teach us a lot as well, and that's the beauty, I guess, of us being able to work with like amazing businesses like you guys, because we learn from you just as much as you learn from us. So that's the happy relationship. What do you think you're most proud of with Happy Staffy Co, or your journey? Like, what do you just do you sometimes reflect on it and go, fuck, like I'm actually really proud of that?
Yeah, we do a lot.
Yeah, that's good. For me, a moment that's just truly stands out is I mean, it's every entrepreneur's dream. They want to be able to support their family, retire their mum, their dad, whatever it is. Well, that's my goal anyway. I want to be able to retire my mum, and I'm not quite there yet. But when I think it was about 6 months ago now, and I went to my mum and I'm like, Mum, I want you to quit your job. I want you to come work for us. And I had to convince her. She'd been in her role for like 12 years. She was fairly miserable, I'd say, like wasn't happy, getting paid shit, all that sort of thing. And I had to convince her, like we're a brand new sort of startup, she'd been in this role for a long time. So convincing her to come over, building out a role for her, being able to pay her well, and, just seeing how happy she is every day now. She'll work from home when she wants. She comes into the office. She loves it. She's, being able to provide sort of that better life for my mum, and getting to that next step of being able to retire has been just a moment that's really stood out for me. But I think apart from that is just yeah, like seeing the feedback and seeing the sort of impact and ripple effects that our products are having and bringing joy into homes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I read every single review. Like whenever I'm having a hard day, I'll just go through the reviews. I'm like, oh, we actually are making a difference.
That's awesome.
And even though it's like some people might say like it's just dog products, it's like when you have a dog and they're happy, like you're happy. So I think like Tom said that before, you think about your dog and that brings you joy. So yeah, I think I'm really proud of just creating those products that can do that. And then back to the team thing, it's like I have been in workplaces that were quite toxic where I was like, you know, either getting bullied or just not growing as a person. And I think every day, like I try and come to work and just make sure that we're helping everyone grow as individuals, but also just like having fun. Like we want the vibes to be high. Like we're not saving lives, you know, like we're just trying to create really good products that bring happiness and we can have fun with that. So
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, you guys are doing amazing. So keep it up. You should be very proud.
Appreciate it.
I guess for anyone like looking to start their online store, or maybe they're struggling with their niche, like a lot of people do. We speak to, you know, hundreds of businesses every year, and you know, a lot of them we can't work with because there's certain things that are not in place before they run ads or whatever. You know, maybe they're just not the right fit from an industry point of view as well, or they might not have the right product, or maybe they've come to us with an idea, they don't even have a business. But what would you say to anyone out there who is in business or looking to start a business and might be struggling to find their niche? What's some tips and advice there?
Yeah, I would say like, what are you passionate about? Because you're going to have to get up and do it every day, sometimes 7 days a week. So find what you're passionate about and
don't do it for the money. Do it for what you actually enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's number one. And, you know, just see what problems people around you are having. If so, it's something that you're passionate about. What problems are there that exist within that? Like going back to the dog toys, like there was already dog toys in the market, but we personally couldn't find any that were strong enough for our dogs. So find something that you're passionate about, see where the gaps are. And I think that's a really good way to find the niche, because you want to make sure that you're solving a problem and you're not just creating another product that, you know, is not going to do anything.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I'd say just give yourself permission to fail, permission to just get out of your own way. Quite often we're caught up in our own minds, in our own heads, and just like we stop ourselves from having any success. So I think that's something, like I said before, with the imposter syndrome, just like, breaking through those fears, identifying them, and
and you will fail. Like you will fail if you're starting a business, so just get
inevitable.
comfortable with that.
Yeah, it's almost like a necessary element that people think like, fuck, I don't want to fail, or I don't want to have adversity. It's like, well, sorry, if you want to, you know, have success or anything, or any sort of growth, that is part and parcel. Yeah. It's like you can't just have happiness without sadness, you know, it's the positive and negative of life. So yeah, I think embrace fail fast, and pick yourself up and keep pushing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Too good. So I think like, going into what your 3-year plan is, like what, aside from, you know, some stuff that you're keeping under wraps, like what's some cool things you're working on at the moment that you can share?
Ooh, I think we've got a new product in the works that I think is really exciting. It's going to bring another element to the brand and to the health of dogs as well. So I can't get too much into it, but it'll be really exciting to, launch that new product. I think we haven't had like a big product launch in a couple of months. So that'll be really good. We've been working hard behind the scenes on that at the moment. But I think just launching into a new market, like launching into the US, that's
massive.
been a lot of work involved in that. So I think we're kind of just like all hands on deck for that at the moment.
I would say, going back to just wanting to be able to give more, like how can we do that? And it's partnering up with other businesses that may be able to offer services that we can provide to our customers as well. So
Smart.
Partnering up, offering more services, maybe that's dog training, dog food, whatever it is.
Great.
So just how can we give more and just constantly trying to improve on that.
Yeah, partnerships are one of the most important things. And it's not just from it's a no-brainer for services, right?
Yeah.
Like you've got a mortgage broking agency that might, you know, partner very closely with a real estate agency, and you know they just go hand in hand. But like products, I think a lot of people neglect the fact that you can do so much with a product. You know, like you could partner with like you said, dog walking, charities, the list goes on, and that really leverages your brand, creates credibility, and then taps into new databases that you could leverage too.
Yeah, and adds more value for the customer as well.
Yeah. What are some fun partnerships you're working on?
Ooh, what's a fun partnership that we've got in the works?
Do you do any like sort of giveaways, like you go dog park and like give out some toys and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, the reason we're in Sydney at the moment is we're doing a partnership with the RSPCA.
Oh, cool.
So that's on Sunday. So we're the head sponsor for the Million Paws Walk, which will be awesome.
Nice.
So we've got a partnership with them in the works at the moment where next time we're in Sydney, we'll be visiting their shelters. And there's so many Staffies in shelters as well. Like they can, have behavioural issues and things like that. So we want to kind of draw attention to that and then off the back of that, look at a bit of a giving back program. So I think that'll be massive and it's something that we both are really passionate about and believe in. So that'll be
Awesome.
a fun element. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just things that we would use personally as well. So like dog insurances is a big one. It only makes sense. Like we've built up a loyal fan base and database of Staffy lovers. So being able to, partner with these people and, offer them the services and that. So yeah, insurances is one that I really want to do. Food, I think whether we manufacture our own or partner and try white label some food that we believe in.
Like Leica is something
like that. Yeah. So there's just a couple that we're working on.
Yeah, cool. Very good. One thing we haven't touched on, I'd like to sort of get some insight in. Like content creation is obviously a huge element of like growth and scaling ads on Meta, obviously, and what you guys are doing organically in your website. Like, how fun is it creating content for Staffies and having your own Staffy dogs and what's it like? Like, is it just give you lots of joy doing that? Like, how fun is it?
It makes it easier. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You've got the models. Just
you're not having to
on
deal with
hand.
people. You just you're getting a laugh out of it as well.
It's good. Yeah. Nah, it's a fun element to the business. We're really lucky. Our team of content creators, they just smash it out. So, over the last 3 or 4 years, we've just got so much content. So they've got a lot to work with. But we're always we get millions of views on some of our videos and a lot of them go viral. But I think it's because we're always thinking about how can we entertain or, educate or inspire. We're not just putting out content for the sake of it. We're not just here's a cute dog. We're actually trying to think about one of those three things. And I think that's kind of been the success behind the social media is it's not we're just pushing products and just, trying to be too salesy. Obviously ads have a massive place for that. But for the organic side of it, we're all right, let's inspire with this video or let's educate how these treats can be used or how this product can be used. And yeah, it's actually providing value. And I think that's been, one of the biggest things with the content is how can we do that with every piece of content? Because we post every single day.
Yeah.
So it's a big job.
Yeah.
But I think, it's been the success behind it.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, right now I think our mission too with the content is how can we tell our story? How can we show who's behind the brand and build that connection with our audience and, show that we are a passionate family business, small family business that, work out of our warehouse and our offices and, the Staffies running around and they're trialing out the products. And so just sort of sharing that journey too. And we really want to tell the story of how it began and where it's going and just show behind the scenes too. So I think that's sort of in the works for our new content strategy.
Yeah, awesome. Very good. What's one thing, if you had the time back, that you just would not do again, from starting? I mean, maybe it's not going too broad, like you said, but what's one major thing you'd just be like, no, I'm not doing that again if you have another business?
It's tough because I've learned so much from all the mistakes. All the failures.
It's a hard question, isn't it? Because you sort of need to fuck up to learn.
Yeah, definitely. I think it would just be even if you don't know what you're doing, just try and execute on it anyway. And obviously you always want to find someone with that knowledge or, educate yourself, but just get it done. Don't wait for the knowledge to come because
don't procrastinate.
Yeah, don't procrastinate. Yeah, exactly.
Take action.
And we always say that in the office. We're we just need to take massive action right now. Obviously think about big decisions, but sometimes we're okay, this seems like a really good decision, but we don't know how to do it. Don't let that hold you back. You'll find a way. You've just got to get that momentum happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think for me, I wasted so much time in my earlier days and in my sort of teenage years. So now I'm I really don't like to just guess things. I don't like to sort of waste times. Although I did wing things, and I think that is a big lesson too that Sasha taught me is you need to have accurate numbers. And I wish I sort of had done that in the earlier stages because it would have been just a lot cleaner. But I think apart from that would be just, not to sort of waste time. Find someone who's done it. Find someone who is an expert in your field, whether you have to pay them, whether you can sort of seek that sort of advice from them or find it online. But just, finding the advice and getting it from someone who's done it and can get you there a lot quicker, because you don't want to be heading the wrong way and taking action, but you're going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I swear that's like a common thread with everyone I interview is, having that support team around you. It's just so integral to be able to put your hand up when you're sort of at a roadblock, and there's only so much from not having not have grown businesses before. And your first go at running a business, there's so many things you're going to encounter that you're just out of your element. So rather than having to, obviously making mistakes is inevitable, but rather than sitting there and trying to, waste a year of your time, going down the wrong path, researching and getting the right people behind you to be able to expedite that process. And like we've got so much support that we've built 8 years now in business that we rely on, even though we're still a small business. It's important to be able to have good people around you whilst you're going through the process. And
Absolutely.
It seems like you guys have got that.
Yeah, and I think there's so many free resources these days. Like you can reach out to someone on LinkedIn who has done it before, and it's not going to cost you anything. Like you don't need to be paying for courses or mentors. Like I'm always messaging people on LinkedIn, just like cold message, and most of the time they get back to you. Like I know that we're always happy to help people that reach out to us. So there's kind of no excuse. Like don't be scared. Like most people are super friendly and just reach out.
And they'll probably take it as a compliment as well.
Yeah,
like, wow,
exactly.
okay, these guys are needing my help. That means, it's an honor to be able to even help someone.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, that's great. So going into, I guess, some of your personal lives, outside of running a business, I always find that there is a good science behind keeping consistent, having a good well-being. What are some things that sort of make you guys happy and healthy outside of running the business on the weekends or after work, aside from playing with your Staffies?
That is,
That's
definitely a
given.
massive love of mine. But I think I sort of hear this question a bit too. It's like, how do you manage like work-life balance? And it's not something like, I don't know. I do prioritize health. I do prioritize success. To me is health, happiness, and wealth.
Absolutely.
So I don't really believe in the whole work-life balance sort of thing. I guess it depends on what your goal is. Like, what are you trying to achieve? If it's just to build like, a job, a small business, but that's sort of not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build something very significant. We all are. So for me, like I don't switch off. Like it's 7 days a week. I'm just sort of working. If I'm not working, I'm thinking about work, but I like to call it more of like a work-life blend because I'm just blending these things in throughout the day. I do prioritize my health. I'll go to the gym at lunchtime. I do like, a bunch of different, saunas, red light therapy, all of that sort of stuff. But I just sort of blend it in throughout the day. Other things could just be hobbies. Like I love just anything that's to be leveling up around business. So like connecting with like-minded people, other business owners, networking, going to seminars, reading, things like that. So these are all sort of things that I'm passionate about, but I just sort of tie it all in. I don't know. There's no balance for me. It's just like, but I don't burn out like, because I just feel like it's balanced, like it's blended in really well.
I love that. The blend. Rather than work-life balance or work-life style, it's the blend. How can it all just be uniform?
Yeah.
So that you're not having to switch off and on all the time.
That's right. Yeah. It's like weekends here, let's go switch off. I don't want to think about work, because as a business owner, you're always thinking about it, and like, Molly knows this. I'll be texting her for
all hours
of the night, like weekends and whatnot. So
It's awesome. Yeah. It's like also, I actually saw something from a health coach. He sort of he really hammers home the importance of calorie in, calorie out. It doesn't matter really what you eat, even though it's important to have nutritious food, but he was like, people who have like a really strict diet, they might just be eating lettuce and rice or like bland chicken for a whole week. You're gonna burn out and just go crazy on the weekend and just outdo it in one day. Like a cheat day, it's not like a cheat meal, right? And a lot of people yo-yo as a result. So it's like, still enjoy life every day during the week and don't have that Monday to Friday mentality,
That's right.
And spreading it out, rather than having it condensed and then you blow out as a result as well.
Exactly. If it's 10 o'clock, you want to go get a massage while you're working, just go get a massage.
Do it. Who's to say that you have to be 9 to 5? Like that was an industrial sort of regime that we don't have to follow anymore.
And it's whatever's going to make you most productive as well. Like set boundaries around when you know that you work best too. And I think that's better for your team. It's better for yourself, and you're just going to get the best quality of work as well if you do that.
Absolutely.
And I think it's like, when you do take those moments to rest, or if you're on a holiday, like let yourself slow down so then you can then speed up again later. Yeah.
Yeah, you need those periods where you do change your environment, switch up. You know, I often try and at least detach myself from the business, and even if it's a week, you know, I don't have to be going to Europe every year for 6 weeks like a lot of people do. But yeah, like I tend to sort of have a week off, and then I'll just try and have a digital detox somewhat, even though I'm on my phone somehow anyway. And yeah, it is hard to stay off your phone. That's one thing that we all struggle with.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that week off that I have here and there, or it could even just be a few days, will enable me just sort of look at the business at an outside perspective, and then just have those creative juices flowing. You know, so I think it's really important, like, to acknowledge the fact that we all work hard, and even if you are blending everything together, still have those breaks where you can just focus on thinking creatively for the purpose of, you know, coming back to the business and then going, cool, let's move in this direction.
I think like whenever I do take a reset, actually it's so true. Like I'll come back to the business and have all of these amazing ideas and have the energy to do it.
That's
so
it.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
If you could wind back the clock and give yourself some advice that say you're 18, what would you say to yourself?
Wow.
I would say don't do 2 uni degrees because it's a waste of money and time.
I would say that as well. Yeah, absolutely.
No, I would say just trust your gut. I think, like I was saying before, if you've got a good idea and you're passionate about it and you've tested it, like still test it. I'm not saying just go in blindly, but don't let other people kind of bring you down. Because I think especially with like friends and family, they can be trying to protect you, but they can be saying like, oh, like, I don't know if that's a good idea. And like, people might have even said like going all in on this Staffy niche, and they still actually do say it to us. They're like, when are you going to like, you know, serve all dogs? And like, even though we kind of do, and it's funny. Working, people still like, oh, I think you should, you know, expand and change your name from Happy Staffy Co to something more broad. So I think, you know, we know that it works. And so it's just like, trust your gut. If you feel like it's working and you're passionate about it, then just go for it.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
I would say if I could wind back to 18, I would be, that's like 10 years ago. I would say, because I've just, I don't know, I've been through a lot and wasted a lot of time, done a lot of wrong things, made a lot of wrong choices. And I think that was the result of being around the wrong people. So, I mean, anyone with any level of intelligence knows that you are who you hang around. So I think that was something that I lacked, was role models. So I guess just being in the right room with the right people, or having that sort of awareness to sort of not be around those sort of people. And so just seek role models, seek mentors, consume content that's valuable, like be very, very like precious with your time and your energy, because you're constantly creating your reality. So I think that would be the biggest thing, is just like careful what you consume.
Yeah, I think that's a great one. Yeah, like reserve your energy for the right people, and don't let people suck your energy out negatively. And you're the sum of the 5 people you hang with, right? So whether you do have some friends that you like to sort of go and celebrate with, it's important to still have a network around you that will support you in the right way, for sure.
Yeah. Definitely.
Before we wrap up, any other piece of advice for listeners and viewers out there that are sort of admiring your story and, you know, looking to sort of replicate something of their own?
Ooh,
just go all in, just like work it out what it is, commit, realize that it's not going to be like, some business owners just think it's like, all right, I'm starting a business, my expenses go up like this and the profit's going to go up like this. But it's not always like that. You have to invest into it. You might have to go into a pit and not be profitable, and that's where a lot of businesses will fail. But just committing, going all in, and having great people around you is just going to make all the difference.
Yeah. Awesome. And I think execution just trumps knowledge every single time. So just keep taking steps to make it happen.
Yeah, just test, iterate, and rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks, Tom and Molly. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here. It's been awesome to get more insights into your background story, and super excited to see what the future holds for Happy Staffy Co. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Likewise, Blake. It's been great.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.